So, welcome everyone for the weekly Bhagavatam discussion. So, we are discussing Kapilidev's teachings from last few weeks. So, we will continue the discussion. So, so Kapilidev has described Bhakti Yoga in 25th chapter, and he has described Jnana in 26th and 27th chapter. And then in 28th chapter, he has described Ashtanga Yoga. So Mother Devahuti, she heard this both Jnana, Yoga, Bhakti. So in 28th chapter, she again, 29th chapter, she asks again 3 questions, which are elaborated in the next 3-4 chapters. So she asks that, please explain me of the path of Bhakti Yoga in detail, because she wanted to perform Bhakti Yoga. So Kapil Dev explains in this chapter various types of Bhakti Yoga. And she also asks, please explain about the nature of time. He also explains about time. And she also asks one question that, please explain me how living entities are suffering in this world and continuously experiencing samsara in this world. So these 3 chapters, 30, 31, 32, they are like, they elaborate how living entities are suffering in this samsara. So more graphic description is given, and how in living entities we undergo various sufferings. So in order to start bhakti, little bit vairagya is required. So in order to generate that vairagya, like in the beginning, bhakti may require little bit vairagya. So these chapters are there in order to get detached from this material world and take seriously the path of bhakti yoga. So we'll discuss. So these are the 3 questions that are put forward by Mother Devahuti. So, and after putting these 3 questions, she praises Kapilidev that you are appeared in this world. So to propagate knowledge, you are Yoga Bhaskara. So you give by your knowledge illumination to those people who are deluded by false ego, who are blind to spiritual life, who are sleeping in samsara, and they are fatigued due to attachment. So fatigue due to attachment means, in general, when anyone who is having some attachment, that will always cause some kind of fatigue. Means it will always give trouble. So you have appeared to remove all these troubles. So please explain this knowledge. So then Kapila he, out of compassion, he started responding. So he first started saying that there are bhakti. Previously, he has explained the process of pure devotional service, where a devotee performs devotional service without any motivation and without any deviation of karma and jnana. Continuous bhakti he performs. And now he gives 3 examples of bhakti which are with motivation, with different motivation than the pure devotee. So what is their motivation? So he is performing bhakti to Krishna, our Lord, but his intention in performing bhakti is like not devotional service, but some other motivation. So a person in tamasic mode, in ignorance, he has intention of harming other people and with pride, with a lot of hatred. So with that impassion, with that intention, he performs bhakti. So, and in general, bhakti yoga is by nature it is transcendental, but according to the modes that the person engaged, so according to his intention, so bhakti yoga is classified. Otherwise, bhakti yoga is fully transcendental. So when a performer has the intention, oh, I want to harm this person, therefore I will worship Lord Hari. So that person is classified as tamasic in his bhakti. So an example of this tamasic bhakti is that in sixth canto there is Diti, who is a wife of Kashyap Muni. She was mother of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So when the Lord killed these two, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, she becomes very angry with Indra, because for the sake of Indra, Lord has killed my sons. So therefore she wanted to kill Indra. So therefore she approaches Kashyap Muni and asks, she pleases him and asks for a benediction. Then she asks that I want to kill Indra, give me a son who can kill Indra. So then Kashyap Muni, he laments, and then because Indra is also his son. So, and he thought for some time and he gave one Vaishnava Diksha. Like she has to perform some for 1 year worship of Vishnu with some Diksha. So Diti, she performs that Vishnu puja, Vishnu worship for 1 year. So her intention is to kill Indra, but she is worshipping the Lord. So, but at the end of that year, Indra also come to know that she is performing all these things to kill me. So he comes and starts serving Diti. And at one point, Diti commits some mistake. He enters into the womb of Diti and chops off the body of the fetus, but it will not die. It will be broken into 7 pieces. Again, he will divide each piece into 7 pieces. So 7 into 7, 49 pieces it will become, but they will not die. So then he understands that Lord Vishnu is protecting her. So he comes out with all those 49 people and shows to Diti and begs forgiveness. And Diti also, because she performed 1 year of Vishnu worship, she also gets purified. And she also gives up that intention of harming Indra. So in that way, that Diti gets purified. So this person is worshipping Vishnu, but worshipping with the intention of harming others. He is angry and is devoid of any compassion, violence, pride, and hatred. All these things are there. So in this way, and in that also, in tamasic bhakti also, there may be varieties. So a person who want to harm others, destroy others, that is of lowest kind. Or one who worship the Lord with some cheating mentality, that is also tamasic bhakti with some medium kind. And one who worship, seeing that others are performing devata worship, so I will worship Vishnu worship with competitive mode. So that is also tamasic mode in the highest, like little bit better. So in the rajasic person, so he is worshipping Vishnu, but he has other desires than bhakti, that he want to achieve some material goals like material gain, some wealth or power or fame. So all these are like his goal in intention in worshipping Krishna is to attain all these things. So that means its goal itself is to attain these enjoyment, fame, and opulence. For example, Dhruva Maharaj, he has performed bhakti, we will see in the fourth canto, to attain a greater kingdom than his Brahmaji. So he is worshipping Krishna, worshipping Vishnu, but his goal is to attain material opulences. So that is classified as Rajasic Bhakti. And the Sattvic Bhakti, here the person, he is also having Bhinnadru. Bhinnadrup means having separate intention than to attain the Lord. His intention is to destroy his karma. And he performs his duties out of as an offering to the Supreme Lord. And he has a desire for liberation instead of desiring prema bhakti. So therefore, his bhakti is also said to be prutak bhava, means his desire is also separate from the Lord. So in this way, he what is in Sattvic Bhakti, he is performing his Varnashrama duties and offering his while performing morning duties, he worships the Lord out of his daily rites, and he has somehow he has understanding that this karma will bind me, so therefore I will offer my karma to the Lord. So therefore I will get free of this karma, and he also has a desire to achieve liberation. So there are also varieties, like if he is performing the uh, like uh, with some, like he is having bhakti with some mixture element of karma and jnana. So if bhakti element is more, he will attain shantarati. But if karma or jnana element is more, then he will attain liberation, Sayajamukti. So all these people, in general, these people, they will attain their desires, uh, uh, except for some violence and other things. They will attain their desires in much more greater quality than other people who doesn't worship. And sometimes these people, while worshipping, they will, Lord will give their desires in such a way that they will not ask for more things. So, and he will give his own lotus feet so that they will come to him. So, in general, there is a greater advantage in worshipping the Lord than not worshipping or not worshipping other personalities, because the results are very high and there is a chance that he will become pure and attain the Lord's service. So that is why it is also like anywhere, any somehow or other, approaching the Lord is always encouraged. So these are the performer of bhakti in three modes. Now, the pure bhakti beyond three modes is again, as he mentioned in 25th chapter, but he again mentioned here. So the pure bhakti is Madguna Shruti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhashaye Manogati Ravichinna Yata Gangamba Samyo. Just like Ganges water flows towards uh, ocean, the person who is having a bhakti, pure bhakti, is just by hearing about my qualities, Madguna Shruti Matrena, just by hearing my wonderful qualities, who is situated in everyone's heart, his mind continuously flows towards me. So that is the Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya hi Vadahati. So that is the characteristics of bhakti, which is of nirguna, means beyond the modes. And the characteristic is that that characteristic of nirguna bhakti is that ahetuki avyabhihata. So as these words are important, ahetuki means without any motivation. So his only motivation in performing bhakti is to attain more bhakti. And avyabhihata is like continuous flow. Continuous flow means it is not obstructed by other paths like karma or jnana. So in this way, like these are the two characteristics of a the devotee who is performing bhakti, which is beyond the gunas. So is that he, like, there are no other desires. His only desire is to achieve prema, love for the Lord, and it doesn't have any obstructions from other processes. So in this way, this is the definition of pure bhakti beyond modes. So in order to describe that bhakti, pure bhakti, what is the characteristic of that pure bhakti? So the devotees, they reject even liberation if it doesn't have seva. So that is the characteristic. Very famous sloka. This is Salokya Sashti Samipya Sarupyaikatvam Diyamanam na grunanti vina matsevanam janah. So my devotees, janaha, my devotees, vina matsevanam, if there is no service, even if I offer diyamanam, they don't na grunanti. Even if I offer these five kinds of liberation. What are these 5 kinds of liberation? Salokya. Salokya means living in the same planet as the Lord. Sarshti. Sarshti means having similar powers attaining to the Lord, is very powerful. Samipya. Samipya is staying near the Lord. And Sarupya. Sarupya means having a form similar to the Lord. And Ekatvam. Ekatvam means merging with the Lord. So devotees sometimes may accept first 4, Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya, Sarupya, if there is service for the Lord. If there is no service, even they don't accept that. And Ekatvam, they never accept it. So this Kapildev is already mentioned in 25th chapter, that my devotees doesn't want to liberation of merging into. So now he is again emphasizing that. So that is the thinking of that devotee. So that is the heart that is performing pure bhakti. So but what happens that by performing that bhakti? By that bhakti, he practices continuously. By that bhakti, he will attain what is called as bhakti yoga. That means he attains prema stage, by which he will attain madbhavaya upapadyate. He will attain prema towards me. And as a side effect, he will cross over the 3 modes. He will attain liberation without any endeavor, separate endeavor. Yena ativrajya trigunam. That means a devotee, while performing devotional service, he is not looking for liberation, but he is only looking for bhakti, is only looking for developing love for the Lord. So by that, as a byproduct, he is automatically liberated. So, and also here one more point is that this pure bhakti is characterized as in the 9 stages. So these are 9 stages of bhakti: Adoshraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. So these 9 stages, the first stage and last stage, like all these stages, the person is performing pure devotional service, even though he may have anarthas, because his intention is pure. He want to achieve prema. So although he may have some anarthas, but his intention is pure and he is continuously performing bhakti. So because of that, yena ativrajya trigunam, he is crossing 3 modes. That means he is under 3 modes because of his previous activities, but his bhava, his intention is pure to achieve it. His intention doesn't have any deviation of achieving the Lord. So therefore, by practicing such sadhana bhakti, he is attaining prema bhakti. So first stage and last stage are non-different. Both are bhakti yoga, but in the intensity of bhakti is increasing. So in this way, he is progressing in the bhakti and he achieve this thing. So what are the angas of bhakti? Like if a sadhaka, he wants to perform. So what are the angas of bhakti? So angas of bhakti, he practices his swadharma, which are not contradictory to devotional service. And he performs varnashrama duties which are approved by previous devotees and without any desire for results. and which are favorable for bhakti. And he also performed Pancharatrika Vidhi, means deity worship, with some best choice of items without any unnecessary violence. And in that deity worship, he always offers his obeisances to the Lord, sees the form of the Lord, he touches the form of the Lord, he worships, praises, and he also sees all the living entities that I am situated in them. Bhuteshu Madbhavanya. So I am like the Supreme Lord is situated in all the living entities that he sees. And he gives a bad association with determination. And he always gives a lot of respect to the great people, and he has a lot of compassion for the like who are not having great advantages, and he has friendship with who are equal to himself. So this concept will also come in Dhruva Maharaj section, that one can be always be free from all anxieties if we perform these three things. That means by appreciating great people who are having more qualities than us, by respecting, appreciating, and for people who are having less qualities than us, for them by showing compassion, not deriding them, but showing compassion, elevating them. And people who are of equal qualities with that, instead of competing with them, one should make friendship with them. So by these three qualities, one will overcome all the sufferings in this world, like that Narad Muni advises Dhruva Maharaj. So Yamena Niyamena, by following rules and regulations of devotional service, and by hearing the glories, continuous hearing glories of my about me, and Nama Sankirtanachami, by chanting my holy names. Clearly, Kapildev is emphasizing the importance of chanting the names of the Lord, and by simplicity or sincerity, by the association of sincere devotees, and by without false ego, that thinking that I am doing all my activities without considering Prakriti is doing. So these are the different limbs of bhakti, that how a sadhaka bhakta he can practice all these things, and by practicing all these things the person's mind will be completely purified, and in this way when he is engaged in service he slowly attain that bhakti in which his mind is attracted simply by hearing the qualities of the Lord. So for example, just like air carries aroma from flowers to nose, similarly, by performing bhakti to the Lord, the mind is carried to the lotus feet of the Lord. So nice analogy, like just like air comes from flower, it hits our noses. Similarly, bhakti carries us towards the Lord, means our mind is fixed in the Lord when we practice sadhana bhakti. So therefore, for us, it is very important to practice this sadhana bhakti. Like all these items that are mentioned, these are very, very important. So that we will achieve that love for the Lord which we are aiming. So all these things we can incorporate in our lives slowly. Like we can incorporate deity worship. Like we can have photo of the Lord in our home or vigraha of the Lord. Then worship the deities and practice the respecting, like treating all devotees in different ways, always hearing about the Lord, just like we are hearing Bhagavatam, and chanting the names of the Lord. So regularly chanting the especially Hare Krishna mantra, which is recommended in this age, and by associating with devotees, and by getting rid of false ego, By all these things, our mind will be attracted towards the Lord. So these are the practices that are given by Kapil Dev for sadhaka bhaktas, which is especially relevant for us, which because we are not in the stage of spontaneous devotional service to the Lord. Our attraction to the Lord is like not yet fully mature. So when we perform all these activities as much as possible, that our mind is automatically carried to the Lord by this angas of bhakti. So in this way, we can attain perfection. So this is the in the Kapil Dev's teachings. These are the sections which are most relevant for us, where we can practice bhakti and attain the pure bhakti towards the Lord. So, but while performing that bhakti, there is a great chance of means there is a great obstacle for bhakti is one of the offenses in bhakti, where especially if you are offending other devotees, so that is like other devotees or other living entities, so that will act like major obstacle in bhakti. So therefore, in order to remove that obstacle, Kapila Dev he kind of gives instructions for his devotees. So just like a master, sometimes he punishes or sometimes criticizes his servant so that the servant will rectify himself. So similarly, Kapila Dev, in order to instruct his devotees, he criticizes them. So means he like if some devotee is critical, he is not respecting other devotees, ignoring other devotees, he is showing hatred to other devotees. So he is like kind of saying that that person is not acting properly. So he says that a person, aham sarveshu bhuteshu, bhutatma avastita sada. I am always situated in every living entity. But if the some person, if he doesn't care, tam avajnaya mam madhya kurute archavidam. If he doesn't care for my presence in all the living entities and he disregards them or uh, he kind of insults them, that person is his worship is only archa vidambanam. His worship is only pretense. It's not true. So that means we should regard we are worshipping the Lord in the altar or in our photos, but at the same time we have to recognize the Lord's presence in every living entity and respect according to their position. And one who uh, ignores me, who is situated in everyone's heart, and he performs devotional service. He is like Maudya, like he's like a Jada person, and it's like his worship is like simply pouring ashes, like pouring ghee offering into ashes. So that means if someone offers ghee in fire, that fire will blow. But what is the use of pouring ghee in ashes? There is no use. Similarly, we are worshipping the Lord at the same time we are insulting other devotees or insulting other living entities, not seeing the Lord's presence in all the living entities. So that person is like his worship is like pouring ghee into ashes. So Lord will be not pleased with that person. So like there is the devotees when they are categorized according to their bhakti. Some devotees are categorized as prakruta bhakta because they are worshipping the Lord, but they don't have any respect for other devotees. They do not prepare, behave properly toward other devotees or people in general. So therefore, he is called as Prakruta Bhakta, means material new or unrefined in nature. So, but the solution is that he should continue to perform the devotional service, and then by that he will overcome that Prakrita mentality and he will attain pure good. So it's here in that section, it's not that one should give up worship of the Lord. It's not that one should give up worship of the deity of the Lord. It's that one should rectify his mentality of criticizing or showing hatred for others, and by 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 continually worshipping the Lord, worshipping the deity, his mentality will be rectified. So solution is the same. Only thing is he has to cautious that uh, I am not respecting others. So he says that Vishataha Parakayema Marino Bhinnadarshana. He sees himself different from others and hatred shows hatred towards other living entity. They don't consider that other person is also suffering. So Bhuteshu Baddha Vairasya. So when he has that mentality of hatred, not caring for other living entities suffering, and their suffering is also not his own suffering. That way, when he is having that hatred, his mind will not achieve any peace. Namana Shanti Mrichati. And even if he performs devotional service to me with so many great offerings, but if he respects, if he criticizes other living entities, I will not satisfied with his worship. Bhuta Grama Vamayana. If he criticizes other living entities, even if he worships me with so many great qualities, I will not be satisfied with him. So therefore, but how to overcome all these things if someone has? The solution is by still worshipping the Lord. He should continue to worship the Lord, and by that worship, he will understand that Lord is situated in his own body and as well as he is situated in all others' body. So the solution is the same, and with that worship, he will attain that equal vision. So, but if he doesn't care for the if he doesn't care for other living entities, one who makes distinction between his own belly and others' belly, he will attain uh, he will attain fear in the form of death. So therefore, one should continue to worship uh, to me with great respect and treat all living entities as friends. Maitriya Abhinyan Chaksha, without any, with friendship, one should treat everyone. So treating everyone with friendship doesn't mean that one should embrace tiger, but it means like respecting according to their position. So in order to know how to respect other living entities, one should know the gradation in jivas. So equal vision doesn't mean losing discrimination. So one should treat others according to their position. So therefore, a devotee he sees how living entities are their gradation. So that he gives. So he says that in living entities uh, who are maybe immobile, they are greatly like they are situated in better than inanimate objects, and more than like immovable entities. People like some like these are like some kind of rocks, sometimes living rocks. They say better than that entities who have some greater life centers, greater life symptoms, which has some prana, and better than that, like living entities who develop some consciousness. So sometimes some living entities have more consciousness, and more than consciousness, like trees and others are classified into these forms, some kind of living forms. And more than that, entities with sense perception. So sense perception, like who can have some like senses like eyes and hearing capacity. So those are like more elevated. And among them, who is having touch sensation is first mentioned. And then with the taste sensation, then sense of smell, then who can hear, who can see. So these are like gradation, like how they are more uh, classified. And more than them, there is entities with two sets of teeth, like they are like more superior. And more than them, like some kind of insects will have teeth. More than them, beings with many legs, like bees. More than them, animals with four legs. And out of even among animals, more than animals is human being with two legs. So among all the human beings, who is performing, like among the human beings, there will be non-human Varnashrama humans also. But among them, humans who are having Varnashrama, they are superior. One who is following comes under Vedic fold. So in that Varnashrama also, Brahmanas are considered to be more highly situated. Among the Brahmanas also, one who knows Vedas and he is better situated. And among the Brahmana who knows Vedas, uh, who also knows the meaning of the Vedas, he is more highly situated. And among even persons who know the meaning, the person who can dispel doubts, if someone is having doubts, if he is able to dispel those doubts, he is situated to be more. And even among persons who dispel doubts, who is also following his duties perfectly. That means he is able to remove doubts as well as he follows his all his duties perfectly. A liberated person who is liberated from the modes, he is more highly situated, a jnani. So who doesn't have any desires for his own personal enjoyment. So and even among jnanis, a pure devotee is considered to be highly situated than even jnani. So what are the characteristics of his devotee? He fully dedicates himself to activities, to hearing and chanting, and he dedicates his wealth, his identity. He thinks himself as his identity as a servant of the Lord. His mind and his intelligence he completely offers to me. So and he like and he the such a person who is completely surrendered to the Lord, who has given up even his varnashrama duties, and who thinks that only the Lord alone inspires his bhakti, and who always identifies with others' happiness and distress. So he is samadarshana in the sense that he is able to, like, if others are suffering, he also feels that suffering. If others are happy, he also feel happy. Paradukha dukhi and parasukha. So in that way, he is always having these wonderful qualities and is completely dedicated to the Lord. So such person is highly situated. So in that way, one can recognize different situation and one should offer respects to according to their position, but one should offer respects to every living entity. So how one should offer his, his respects to every living entity, that one should understand that in every living entity, the Lord has entered. Ishvaro, like Manasaitani Bhutani Pranamayat Bahumanayan. So he should offer with great respect, with mind to all living entities, thinking that Lord has entered that living entity, that entity along with portion in the form of Jiva. So Jiva is also a portion of the Supreme Lord. So Lord is situated as Jiva, and also Lord also situated as Super Soul. In this way, whenever we see any living entity, we should think that both are like Lord is situated and Lord's part and parcel is also situated. Therefore, I should offer my respect to all living entities. In this way, he describes the how one should offer respects to everyone. So in this way, seeing that the Lord is situated in every living entity, he offers obeisances. In this way, I have narrated you the, the process of bhakti and Ashtanga Yoga, in which the by practicing bhakti one will attain Bhagavan. By practicing Ashtanga Yoga, one may attain the impersonal Brahman aspect of the Lord. So both are Brahman and Bhagavan, both are aspects of the Lord. So like Bhagavan is having more qualities, and he only appears as Brahman and Paramatma. For Jnanis, he appears as Brahman beyond material nature, and for Yogis, he appears as Paramatma. So in this way, he only situated as both Brahman and Paramatma, and he is also his own expansions are Prakriti, Jiva, Karma, time. They are all his energies. So in this way, he is situated. The Lord is situated everywhere. So the time is also the factor of the Lord. That is the impersonal factor of the Lord. So through time, everyone attains fear. So it causes fear for every person who is situated in this material world. So it describes the characteristic of that time. So that time is the one who actually caused transformation of material objects. We have seen how Pradhana Prakriti in his original state, it was by time it got agitated and all the material objects that came. And so the time, because of through time, the Lord has Lord has entered into all the living entities. Through time factor, he destroys living entities through other living entities, and he creates other living entities through other living entities. So everything takes place by time, and time doesn't have any partiality. So that means it holds no one as dear, and it doesn't hate anyone. It brings death to all the living entities who doesn't aware of its existence. Out of fear of time only, the devatas, all devatas perform. So out of Indra produces rain and stars shine because of time. Wind blows, sun produces heat because of fear of time. And all the plants, creepers, herbs, all those things produce flowers and fruits because of fear of time. And rivers flow, ocean does not overflow, fire burns, earth doesn't sink out of fear of time. The sky provides space, and it provides universal body people so that people can situate. So all these things are out of fear of time or out of fear of me, Kapil Dev says. And even the great Gunavataras like Brahma and Shiva, all these people, they carry out creation, maintenance, destruction. So through the effect of time. So the time without end, it causes everyone's end and destroys people. So in this way, the powerful time acts. In this way, time's characteristic he has given. So it even at the time of death, it dissolves the universe. Even universe will get annihilated with the power of time. So power of time is such thing. Even in next chapter also it is emphasized. So after explaining time, he starts expressing how living entities are suffering in this world by their fruitive activities. So he says that a living entity, foolish living entity, they do not know the powerful influence of time, how time acts. Just like clouds, they are carried by strong wind. The time carries everyone. Time will carry everyone away, and they don't know the influence of that time. It is very powerful time. So, what is the effect of time? How does it affect? So, very powerful shloka, very powerful meaning. Whatever a person attains throughout his life for his pleasure is destroyed by time. So therefore he laments because a person in this world, like, he endeavors a lot to attain so many things, right? He has put his effort, he has given his energy, and a lot of anxiety. Everything he attains by his all these efforts, and he is attached. But what will happen? Powerful time, slowly, it brings old age, it brings death. So he has to leave all these accumulations. So it is very painful at the time of death, knowing that I have to leave all these things. Because especially he identifies himself with his body, and he identifies himself with his house, land, articles. So when the time destroys the temporary body, he laments. Like, because even body itself is temporary. What to speak of the things related to the body, like other things. So when time either like time separates these things, either they will separate from this person. In some cases, some losses happen, some of the damages will happen. So therefore, he loses them, or he gets separated from them in the form of old age and death. So therefore, he laments. So this we can see everywhere in this world. Everyone, they lament always because of losing temporary things. And but the problem in this world is that although this suffering is there, no one will recognize that they are suffering. So that is the problem in this world. Like, although Krishna says in Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshana Darshanam. There are four miseries: Janma, Mrityu, Jara Vyadi, like birth, death, old age, and disease. These are like very powerful sufferings people undergo in this world. But the problem is that they don't understand that they are suffering, because in every species, wherever they go, they attain satisfaction, some kind of satisfaction. So therefore, he doesn't become detached from it. So even if he is situated in hell, he doesn't want to give up that body which is suffering, because even in hell also he gets little bit of sense gratification in the form of food and association with women and other items. So with that, for that little pleasure, he doesn't want to give up for that situation. So this is how, like, these shlokas, they are highlighting that time as a powerful factor destroys him. He suffers, he laments, he sees others lamenting. But problem is that he doesn't recognize. He is little bit attached to little sense, little happiness that he gets. So therefore, he doesn't develop detachment. So why? Because again, it is emphasized that he has lot of deep-rooted affection for his body, Atma, Jaya, like wife, Sutta, friend, son, Sagara, house, Pashu, his vehicles, Dravina, well, Bandhushu, his relatives. Niruda Moola, his attachment is very strong. So therefore, he thinks himself very successful because of having all these things. So therefore, he doesn't get any detachment. And now, like a materialist, he engages in a sinful act. What is his destination? So person, a materialist who is performing sinful act, how does he suffer? So that is mentioned. So that person, he commits sinful activities in order to maintain his family he performs wrong activities because he's fool, because he's overcome with illusion to maintain his family, sweet words of his children and wife. And although family life is predominated by suffering, but he is constantly in anxiety to maintain and cheats others. He thinks that happiness is just counteracting miseries. Kurvan dukkha pratikara sukhavam manyate grihi. That means, like, people have a lot of anxieties. And just by a lot of suffering is there, a lot of like so many things come up. Oh, I have to solve this problem, that problem. Because he's so much in anxiety, just by solving that problem, he thinks that he is happy. For example, one person is having job, which is like so much pressure is there to finish a job, finish a particular deadline. So after finishing that deadline, he experiences some kind of happiness. But what is that happiness actually? That happiness is like coming out of that pressure, coming out of that anxiety of finishing the task. So that happiness is actually coming out of misery only. So he is always in that suffering, and just sometimes when he temporarily gets relief from some suffering, he thinks himself happy. So that's how he behaves. And for money, to maintain a family, that sinful person, by using illegal means he obtain. So because of that, he goes to hell. And, there may be sometimes it's not that always goes smooth ride. There is sometimes so many failures may come, and sometimes he may be overcome by greed. So therefore, he may desire wealth of others, and sometimes he may not be able to maintain his family. So therefore, he is like so much misery, and how he always sighs, oh, how can I maintain my family? And just like if a old bull, he is not respected by farmer. If a person is no longer earning, and he is like disrespected by his wife and other members. So when he is not able to maintain them, everyone points their fingers to that person who is not able to maintain. So he grieves himself very much, and slowly the old age will come. So in old age, he's eating how much he can eat. That is itself curtailed, and he develops poor digestion, and he doesn't have any appetite. His appetite becomes very weak, and slowly in the advanced stage of old age, eyes will come out the like eyebrows, like they will come out, and he is always coughing. And when he is coughing, there is lot of sound that is coming from his mouth. And at that last stage, when he is surrounded by his relatives, all his relatives are crying, but he wants to speak, but he cannot speak. And in this way, the person who is completely engrossed in maintaining family with uncontrolled senses and with great pain, he separates from his relatives. He losing all his senses. So that time, Yamadutas come. So this description is for a sinful person who engaged his life in sin. So two Yamadutas, they will arrive, and they are very terrifying to look at. They are very, very terrifying. They were very powerful. So these Yamadutas, they are very angry, and seeing that this person passes stool and urine because of fear, and they will give him some body which is suitable for punishment, and with that body which is suitable for punishment, he binds him with ropes and they drag him. So they forcibly take that, they drag him, and they will repeatedly chastise him, and his heart is pierced by their scolding. And while going on the path to hell, that path is surrounded by dogs. Dogs will bite him, and because of that, he remembers the sinful activities, how he inflicted pain to other living entities, how others are suffered because of him. That he remembers, and he is afflicted on the way by hunger and thirst, and so many hot air will be there, forest fire will be there, and he is beaten by whips, beaten by whips by these personalities. So, and although he is not capable of moving, he is dragged on that hot sand, and in this way, with a lot of fatigue, fainting again and again, he is repeatedly pulled up, and he is brought to the abode of Yama. So with 99,000 yojanas, the distance he will cover within 2 to 3 muhurtas. So in this way, there in hell also, he receives different punishments like Tamisra, Andatamisra, Raurava, where he is like made to eat his own flesh, or his body is tortured apart by dogs and vultures, and is pained by snakes, scorpions, and other flies. They will come and torture him, and his limbs are cut off by elephants and other creatures. He is thrown from mountain peaks and pushed under water, locked in holes. So much suffering he undergoes in hell because of his sinful activities in this world. And sometimes that hell is seen in even in this world also. So sometimes people undergo so much suffering in this world. So that is like that hellish experience is given here. And sometimes people undergo so much pleasure in this world. That is heaven they are experiencing. So we can also observe these things in this world also. So one who maintain his family, to maintain his own stomach by performing sinful activities, he suffers in this way in hell. So after some suffering in hell, according to his sinful activities, he undergoes to different living entities. He travels in different species of life, and after traveling through different species of life according to his desires, he will finally come to human form of life. So it is said that there are 84 lakh species of varieties of species are there. According to his mode, according to his desires at the time of his previous death, he attains that particular kind of body and slowly evolves and finally come to human form of life. So he attains, he situates himself in a womb of a mother, and in the womb also he suffers. So while suffering in the womb, he prays to the Supreme Lord. So we see how a living entity prays the womb of a mother, how he suffers in the womb itself, and how he prays. So that we will see. We will continue our discussion that next week. So I'll stop here. There is a graphic description that Kapila is giving, that how a living entity experiences suffering in hell. So again, one more place this description of hell is described is at the end of 5th canto, after describing the cosmology section. So how living entities suffer for their various sins, that there also it is mentioned. So cosmology is very difficult situation, very difficult subject to understand, because the whole Jyotish Shastra is based on that cosmology, and that description is given. At the end, hellish planets are also given. So at hearing that, Parikshit Maharaj asks question, how can people escape from the suffering. So that's where the glory of the holy name of the Lord will come. Rajamil section, where he glorifies by just by chanting, one can escape from this suffering. So, like one should know the solution for this also, that performing bhakti, performing chanting, one can escape from this suffering. So in this way, we'll continue this discussion. We'll end Kapila's discussion in the next class. So stop here if anyone has any.
Anybody have any questions on Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna. I could not hear you.
Oh, anybody has any questions for Prabhuji? I'm asking Prabhu. I think we are all good, Prabhuji.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining.
Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks.
Chandra.
Hare Krishna.
Jai
Hare Krishna.
Shri Ram ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai. Hari Om.